as he talked, he's been in power for about a year, he really seemed to me to be kind of quite tired and overwhelmed really by the scale of the task. He came to power a year ago talking about trying to form a national army, trying to gradually disband the militias, and that timetable has got set back and back again. Now he talked of 10,000, he said, soldiers and officers being trained by the end of this year. There are plans now to send many of these people abroad for training. 360 in the first batch are going to come to Britain, they're going to come to Italy, they're going to come to Turkey. But this is set back all the time, and they're in hock to these revolutionary militias. I think it's better not to call them rebels, but to call them militias. For example, I also interviewed last week the defence minister, whose own son had been kidnapped. I asked him what he thought about the position of the militias, and he refused to criticise them. He called them revolutionaries, and they can't criticise them because what can they do without them?
What is your impression of governance, the way the government is functioning? Is it a government which is functioning with clarity and a Prime Minister in charge? Or do we have a lot of fiefdoms, not least because of the rebel interests from the uprising 2 years ago?
Well, the whole country really is just a series of fiefdoms. You know,
even within ministries, too?
Even within ministries, and we've got to remember that the intertwining of the militias and the ministries is very close, and there are many former Islamist, or maybe even for all we know, still current Islamist elements within these ministries. There are several members of the jihadi group, the former jihadi group, the Libya Islamic Fighting Group, who are now deputy ministers, including the former defence minister.
The Libya Revolutionaries Operations Room. It's a remarkable name to have for a group which appears to be being paid for by the government and by Parliament and seems to have connections with the Interior Ministry. Did you get a feeling of that in Tripoli when you were there? Well,
absolutely. I mean, effectively, security in Tripoli is not run by any national force, any national army. It's run principally by two militias, the militia from the town of Misrata and the militia from Zintan, who half the time are actually warring with one another. But you're right, of course, these militias, even though now they're given often government names and supposedly government tasks paid by the government, have no real loyalty on many issues to the government at all.